48 seasons, 2 hosts, 1 Survivor Reignited. That's right. Myself, DadHat, along with my buddy MJ Duplessis. We're back for episode 2 of Survivor Reignited, where you've got lifelong Survivor fan and I hate recording because I always point in the wrong direction. Brand newbie to Survivor, watching it for the very first time, and we're going down the road from season 1 all the way to season 48. And I mean, as it keeps going, we'll keep going because it's going to be a while before we get to season 48, where they're filming right now. But like I said, I am DadHat. Next to me, as always, MJ Duplessis. So we're still in Borneo. This episode, we're covering episodes 3, 4, and 5 of the first season. And as we talked on last time, it's a very different game. It's a very different game.
You mean 4, 5, 6?
That's what I meant. 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry. I'm tired.
You had me confused as all hell.
I'm tired. I'm running on caffeine. I work nights. I got kids. It's a whole vibe. But yes, 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6. So it's crazy to think, though, after we get done with this, we're pretty much halfway through the first season.
I was about to say, this season or the show goes by fast.
Mm-hmm. It does. It really does. And as you will notice as we get further into different seasons, as the gameplay, as they start adding things, which I'm not throwing that stuff out because I want when they start doing these things, I want you to be like, oh shit, that changes the game. Like that's gonna be so it's yeah. But it goes fast and it just keeps going faster. Why do you think I've rewatched most of these seasons most of the time or a couple of times? But yeah, so we've had 3 people voted out. We talked about last episode, just about how it's still very focused on, survival and being comfortable out here and being, just making it through. Gameplay is very, very minute. However, in episode 4, probably one of the biggest things that ever happened to not only reality TV, but TV in general, and that's the thought of alliances. Episode 4 is the first time that the term or the concept of building an alliance or an alliance with either one or multiple people to get to the end is ever even discussed. And it's the biggest thing in reality TV.
Yeah, these 3 episodes were really fucking good.
Mm-hmm. Because you've gotten, we got rid of Sonia and we got rid of BB, and then we got rid of I forget who got rid of Stacy.
Yeah.
So now we're getting into the ones that are here for a little bit longer. This is still when they're doing like everything is every 3 days.
Yeah.
Like they have a tribal council. As you get into later seasons, you're gonna see things like, cool, they have a tribal council. They have a tribal council the very next day. Like it's boom, boom, boom. Especially because now they're only there shorter amount of days. They're not doing as long as they are here. So here it's every 3 days. But they're here now. They've been here. They're going on almost 2 weeks of being together at this point. But for episode 4, we get to see Ramona, and Ramona, who we talked about last season, who was last episode, kind of under the weather, BB complaining that she's not participating,
not pulling her weight.
Yeah. Just, being the grumpy old man that BB was. But we see Ramona here, and she even says, she's like, I'm feeling better. She's like, I don't know if that, and she's like, I'm getting along with people better. And she talks about, she doesn't know if it's because she's feeling better or because, maybe she's gotten something on her stomach. And it's not, as you see, footage of her interacting with everybody. And you even hear her talk about her friendship that she's making with Jenna. And she's really heartfelt about that friendship.
Yeah.
But then you get 2 minutes later, you get Jenna, who's just like, Ramona's feeling better. That's great. But it's probably just a little bit too late. And it's just like, damn, you got heartfelt Ramona over here, and then Jenna over here just being like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. Feelings are not mutual.
Jenna So this is something I mean, I will spoil. Jenna is somebody that comes back for All Stars. Okay. And Jenna's driving force is very much the same in both seasons. She's a single mom with kids, and if I remember correctly,
She wants that money.
She has twins. So I mean, even though she's on, like we talked about last time, the fun tribe, and they're having fun.
Yeah,
she's the one taking it seriously.
Goal. Yeah.
So I mean, she's there for a very good reason. She's trying to take care of her kids as a single parent. And this is the first time you kind of see that, like, okay, she's here to play. She's not like, she does a good job too, because then she does, like, with Greg, like secret handshakes and everything, and she's still with that very playful. But I'm like, okay, you're a chameleon. You're the chameleon on that tribe. What did you think with the whole Ramona kind of? Cool. She's not on a deathbed right now.
I felt it was, as I was watching it, I was like, good for Mona. I know that's probably going to take a while to get your body used to being from, living a normal 9 to 5, like regular life, to being stuck in that situation. I mean, I can only imagine that your body's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't blame Ramona for her actions of, like, not participating and not feeling well. And it's just like, it sucks that, like, you being not well kind of affects your
future in the game.
Yeah, your stance in the game with people.
It's crazy. I mean, it's one of those things. I know for me, like, I don't do the best. Like, I've never been on a big cruise ship. That might be different, but like on a boat or something, like, I don't. So I'd probably get there and I'd be hurling my guts off. But I mean, it's a thing you see throughout most seasons. It's like everybody's really excited when they first get there, but then like that second and third day hit, and they're all just like, oh, I'm gonna die. Like, like their body's just not used to being that hungry, that tired, in the elements. Like, it's a trend you see, and Ramona is one of the first ones we see really have that happen to them. We get in episode 4, we get a major storm that comes through. BB's gone, so Gretchen is like kind of the one barking orders now. But she got along. Yeah, like, and she takes the stance, and she's like, look, I'm not sleeping where this campsite is anymore. I don't care that BB had it here. Like, we're moving it back up into, like, under the trees. And I'm like, that's kind of, I mean, when BB made that shelter, initially, I mean, even me 20 something years ago when that first season came out, it's like, trees are going to provide you with more shelter, you dumbass. From rain, from like heat, from the sun. But they decided to move it. But they still are that Pagong tribe is still very much the playful, having fun. Greg is, the survivor phone where he's talking to people.
Greg making light and hilarious situations out of nowhere. That dude's a cuckoo head, but he's so entertaining.
The funny thing is, I don't if I remember correctly, he never comes back after this season. But looking at where the game is now, it's like, damn, he would have freaking won some of these later seasons, because like that play. I mean, there's some kooky characters that come through, and you're just like, wow, that's a really good strategy. You kind of play in that. Like, I'm the humorous guy. No, like, there was a season that comes way later, like one of the last ones I watched, and there's a guy, and he's so not a threat in terms of like physically.
Yeah.
But everybody gets along with him so well, and he's such a fun dude, and he makes it to the end, and you're just like, wait, how did you get here? Like, it's because he's so social. I mean, that social game.
You see that in Big Brother a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love those characters. I love those people because they usually end up winning.
Yeah. Because you're just like, man, we were so dumb not to get rid of them early on. Like, so dumb. On the other side of things, we've got Toggy. So, again, that's the more serious tribe. We got Richard and Susan and Kelly and, the ones that are, and they're there for the game. They've got their game face on from the very get-go. Sean and Dirk are spending most of their time, trying to fish.
That pissed me off.
Sean's building a bowling alley and pissing Susan off. Like, I mean, I get it. It's the let's be comfortable. And it's just, I mean, watching it now, not necessarily a lot of this you see seasons later because they know what the game is, but it's like here they're just like, you know what, it really is just like, what's gonna pass the time? Let me try to build a bowling alley. So I can't really blame him for doing something stupid like that. But I mean, at the same time, you could be getting firewood, you could be getting food, trying to as tapioca is what they keep saying they're looking for and they're trying to find. But we mentioned like the coming together of an alliance. So it's mentioned, and it's Kelly, and it's Susan, and it's Richard. What did you think when they first kind of started talking about this, like this trio as an alliance?
I legit was like, fuck yes, let the games begin. This is why I watch reality competition shows.
Were you surprised it was those three?
A little bit. Just personalities wise, I was like,
no different. All three of them. You got Kelly, the outdoorsman. You've got Richard from Business America. You've got Susan, who's that very much like blue collar. She's a truck driver, if I remember correctly. So very different, which is a good thing. You don't think of them three being together.
Yeah. So they could slide right under the radar, and nobody's going to recognize their alliance. And genius play.
Yeah. The reward challenge, again, we talked about last episode. They're still very focused at this time on the challenges being survival based, and it's making an SOS signal. So they have to figure out something to do, and a flyover is going to happen, and somebody that does that for a living is going to determine who has the best SOS signal. And again, comfort items. It's things that like the rewards. Like now, it's a lot of food. I mean, that tends to be a lot of things. But back then, it's towels and pillows. I don't think this ever happens again where Jeff lets them like put something that they want into it. So like Tagi chooses like a flaying knife, and Pagong wants a spice rack. And if I'm not mistaken,
my favorite part of this was
the fact that it was Target.
No, homegirl wanting condoms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a weird thing. I mean, they talk about it in the next episode, but it was just like out of random. Hey, can we get condoms? Fuck. Yeah.
So the last thing that I thought that I bet those producers were thinking was going to happen. Big Brother's different. Everyone's freshly showered. Everyone is got a bed. Like there's places that are locked that you can't get to. So Tagi wins the challenge. So they get the spice rack. It makes sense too why they won too. They used visibly moving people. So yes, that's going to catch your attention. So then we get to the immunity challenge for this episode. It's one of the first big like relays, which we see a lot of now. But a 5-part relay race, you get to swim to a buoy, dive down, retrieve a map in a bottle. Then the second runs across a floating bridge to a waiting boat. The second and third paddle to shore. The fourth member breaks the bottle, checks the map, sprints into the jungle for a rope ladder to get a key. And then the final leg, the two members had to locate a buried treasure chest and dig it up and drag it back to their mat. It's one of those things where in the immunity challenge, you see, we talked about like Jervis and his social game. And he talks about like he doesn't have to do anything. They're just keeping him. And you just see him. I mean, you see him with that footage. He just gives up in that run. Like he might be gassed, but he just gives up. I mean, he's just everybody else is chugging along trying to fight to win, and he's just like, whatever.
Yeah. The things he was talking about in episodes 5 and 6, I was like, this dude.
Oh, we'll get to the cow comment. Yeah. Which I can't remember. I didn't write my notes if that was 5 or 6, but
it was 6.
Okay. It was because of who gets eliminated. But yeah, because Jervis just kind of whether he gasses out, whether he just gives up, Toggy wins. And we get to tribal and everything. And it really was, like we talked about, a little too late for Ramona. Like it was like even, and it's weird because like they talk about, especially in these early seasons, like keeping the tribe strong. Yeah, Jervis gave up. So, it's one of those things where, but this was also the tribal council where he's like, I feel confident. Who feels at risk? I feel at risk. Like he's keeping that humor, which I think he thinks this is bread and butter to stick around.
Yeah. He's playing a good social game. I'll give him that.
He's probably in the first season, he's probably him and Greg have the best social skills.
Yeah.
Which is funny. We'll get to in a couple episodes later, like someone else calling out Greg for that very thing. Like, oh, he's dangerous because of that. Like, they don't call out Jervis, I don't think, but I remember them calling out Greg. So we get to episode 5. Dirk and Sean still being buddy-buddy, trying to fish. Susan's still tired and pissy and bitching about how it's a waste of time because they're not catching anything.
I was about to say, they are useless when it comes to the fishing.
It's like, you're on vacation, you're going fishing. You know what? I'm cast the pole, sit. Oh, I'll drink a beer, maybe eat a snack. Oh, there's a tug on the line. Okay. Oh, it broke. Okay, whoever. I'll tie it back. Like they don't care. They don't care. They're not aggressively fishing. They're not trying to catch food. They're just. If I was around, some of them on that camp too, I try to be away from them as well. But because Susan's always one like she's one of the first like quote unquote villains of the Survivor show. But everybody talks. And you start seeing this episode too, the elements hitting people because you see the weight loss on Dirk, and they talk about his weight loss and everything. Later on in
ear infection.
you see the elements starting to hit him. But with the weight loss, you'll see later on, like towards the end of the season on an episode, I think it's towards the very end for like the final like 4, they bring in a mirror and a scale, and they let them know like what their weight was before they started this journey.
Oh,
and they weigh them. So like you see like, like just what the elements have done to them. You mentioned, the condoms and everything, but yeah, Greg and Colleen growing a little bit closer, and Colleen has joined Greg sleeping in the jungle. And what does that mean? We never get a full confirmation on it, but they definitely, the way that it's edited definitely ties into you can put 2 and 2 together, but we never technically get confirmation.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Yeah, but I love Colleen. She's a sweetheart. Like she's one of those that I wish that they would bring back. Like, she's never come back. Greg talks about him that he's starting to realize that he's a leader and doesn't necessarily want that responsibilities. And that's a kiss of death for the early Survivor seasons. People talk about like, I don't want to be the leader, and then unfortunately they can't. It's like they can't. Their personalities won't let them not be a leader. And it's like a kiss of death for so many people in these early seasons. But yeah, you need to go in there and not show that you're a leader. Like, kiss of death. And the reward challenge here. I love this reward challenge. This was one of my favorite ones still to this day. And it's like a skills test. You got a slingshot. You got a
bow dart gun,
and the spear. And of course, you got Susan, who's just like, oh, I hope I'm up against the guy, and I hope that I get to show be better than him on live television or on national television. But it's fun. And it's you shoot them on the fruit, and you gain the fruit, and at the end it's the spear on the big mat, and it's pretty much like a giant game of darts for the most part. And it comes down to Joel throwing the spear against Susan, just what Susan wanted, trying to try to be that alpha female and dog on a guy on television. Unfortunately, it doesn't go her way, and Joel gets closer to that target, and so they win the fruit. But again, you really watch that tribe with Susan and Richard and Kelly and Rudy, and especially for that group, it's cool, reward's nice, but they could care less. Like, let me get them Unity. Like, they're still definitely looking towards the gameplay, not the, okay, cool, this is great. This is going to give me some sustenance for a day or two. What did you think about? When it comes to these challenges, what are you liking more? Are you liking more of the like these relays? Are you liking more like these kind of like low key, like this one with like the blow dart and
these games, these low key kind of fun, like they're for the advantages and to get food and whatnot, and it's just more like a game. It's kind of fun.
I hate to tell you, they don't last long.
Of course not.
Especially, I mean, really, when we get into the 20s, at least, it's like relay after relay. Now, it's some intense stuff that they do with them, but it's just like, yeah, there's a lot. There is a lot. So, and then for the immunity challenge this time, it's talking about it's history repeating itself. Kelly talking about that she should be fine because it's a water competition, and Jervis on the other camp talks about how he can't swim, so he's got to be the one that's rowing. And of course, Kelly's tribe assumes that it's going to be Jervis in the boat because they know he can't swim. And so she does the same thing that Susan does about like, oh, well, I should be able to run right over him and everything.
So great.
And
so karma is amazing.
We know from the world of loving professional wrestling, your comeuppance. Yeah. This was her comeuppance. You're talking your shit.
You got to get smacked in the face.
You're going to get run over. Yeah. And it has nothing to do male, female, nothing. Nothing. Yeah. I don't mean that. Like, because I know, like, I've been married for years. My wife is smarter than me. She is more talented than me. Like, yes. Like, I married up. And pretty much every woman I know in my life and everything, like, kick my ass in pretty much everything. But like, it's the fact that when I'm confident, because when you're that confident, confidence is good, but when you're that confident, you think you can slightly slack a little bit and you're still going to win. Nope. You took them for granted. They win. So
the fact that team was shocked they won is hilarious. Jervis was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. He's just like being his big personality and yeah. So Pagong wins. Kelly is pissed because that's famous Survivor quote. I got beat by a guy who can't even swim. End quote. So they get to tribal, and this time I love that they try to take the moral high ground here. They're like, oh, we're doing it because he's losing so much weight. But Dirt gets voted off. And really, it's just like, you know what? Y'all can't stand him. Bye. But yeah, we're going to try to take the moral high ground and tell him that's because of his weight. Like, it's, again, gameplay on one tribe, non-gameplay on the other. That's what this first season's all about.
Yeah.
So we get to episode 6. The idea of the merge is happening. The idea that soon you ready for the merge?
Yeah. With the clips I've seen from Survivor through like TikTok and whatnot, there's always something about those merge episodes that are just so entertaining from what it seems like.
For the most part, like especially again, I'm going to reference as we get into it because we got to. Next season, you'll see more gameplay for sure. 3, you'll see more gameplay. But again, as it continues, just that gameplay starts off so quickly. The first season is no pun intended, but it's an island to itself. It really is. Like stuff that we're talking about now. Like I'm watching this first season and I'm like, man, I love it for the nostalgia. But at the same time, I'm like, can we hurry up and get out of season 1? Like I was about to text you last week and be like, can we just blitz through the rest of the season and be done with 1? Like.
That's really funny.
Because I'm like, I'm so sick of this season. Only because, again, it gets so much better from here. But yeah, the merge, and we'll talk about it when they actually do merge. You'll see in future seasons, like when the gameplay is super high, like it's chaos. It's chaos because there's that many people trying to talk, trying to gain information. Everybody's lying. So it's one of those when they get to the vote, unless there's like a solid like core group alliance that you get there and you're just like, okay, like this is how I used to watch it too. I'm like, okay, It's clearly between person A and person B, and I'm counting on this hand for A, this hand on B, like for votes as they're going. But you get to these mergers, like when there's not these big core group alliances, and it's just like this person has 2, this person has 3, this one has 1. It's like there's 8 people that are up for elimination, and it's just whoever lucks into the bad vote that gets kicked out. But yeah, the merge and what that means is kind of the topic of episode 6, which I'm watching it and I'm like, 6. That means okay, the merge will happen at 7, episode 7. I was like, was it only a 13, 14 episode first season? Like, I was like, why do I feel like there should be more episodes? Like, I don't know. It just felt longer. One thing we are going to have to check is, at least because I used to have the DVDs of some of these early seasons, one episode was like a recap of what happened pre-merge. So I don't know if us streaming it, if that's the next episode. If it is, we can just skip right through it. Because it does behind the, like, you might want to watch it just because it'll give like clips that you've never seen in certain situations. But like it's pretty much a recap before the merge. So, but I don't know if that's on Peacock. It was on the DVDs.
You mean the Paramount?
Yeah. I don't. What did I say?
Peacock.
I'm used to Peacock or most things. So Tagi, of course, is talking about the merge, because they're down a player, being that they're as the numerical deficit. But Rudy, old man Rudy, decides that he will become a part of the alliance with Susan and Kelly and Richard. What did you think about Rudy becoming the 4th person in this alliance?
I was like, okay, personalities wise, this is interesting, but like smart on the old man to like, let's hold on to these younger guys that might be able to help me through all these competitions.
Yeah, Rudy he's just like, whatever. Like, I'm gonna just get me to the money.
Yeah, the difference between the tribes in this episode really funny.
Yeah,
personality was.
You start to see Joel on the other tribes definitely being the leader. Definitely trying to take that spot. It's not going to be Greg, but I mean, they even call him that. Joel's Captain America. He's the All-American. He played football. He probably works in finances. Like he's Captain America.
Which kind of bites Joel in the ass in the end here.
It does. We're getting there. Jervis trying to be humorous. Again, famous quote in the early seasons of Survivors. Oh man, it even sucks to kind of say this, but that women are I'm going to butcher this quote too because I don't have it written down, but women are the dumbest thing other than cows. But I love crap. I'm blanking. I didn't write down her name, and there's so many people in these early seasons that I'm like, okay, once you're gone.
Before that, we have to talk about them killing the chickens.
Oh, yes, I forgot about the chickens. Gretchen. But yeah, but we'll finish that, then we'll go back to the chickens. But yeah, like Gretchen's explanation of like in like the confessional part of like, Jervis didn't even realize it about what he was saying. And that I told him like all they have to do is look in the camera and they write down his name and go moo. And she said that his face just went, liquid paper white. Like he didn't even think about it until that moment. Like, oh crap. And it's true. It's one of those things in this game. Like somebody could literally just write down Jervis and go moo, and he'll know exactly why he's getting that vote. But yes, take it away with the chickens.
They had won the chickens in the last episode, the competition.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And they finally were able to kill the chickens before the merge. They decided, okay, we have to kill these chickens.
Yeah, why give the other tribe protein?
And it's crazy how much like relief just some raised up chickens gives people. They've been living on fruits and rice, and put some actual meat on these people, and they act like they're in heaven.
But I mean, your body's used to getting a certain amount of protein daily. Even if you're a vegetarian, you're consuming some protein some way for that energy, and just your body's like it's like being an addict. If you're clean and sober, and then you take a hit, boom,
Yeah.
like
I thought it was funny that just some baked or fire roasted chickens can make some people so happy.
See, again, me being a logical person for a couple of different things. When that happens, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna wait and see if they're gonna lay eggs." They're in a confined, tiny ass cage. That's gonna stress them out. They're not gonna lay eggs. Two, these are real chickens that we are about to, unalive and cook ourselves. Salmonella can be a real thing. So I ain't eating this. I'm over here I wouldn't eat this damn chicken.
I didn't think about the salmonella or the whole stressed out they won't lay eggs.
Yeah, they're in a cage that barely fits the three of them. They're not relaxed enough to lay eggs.
I did not think about that. That's really funny.
Yeah, and I mean, I know it's probably no difference, but you buy raw chicken at the grocery store, but still, it's still dished. But I probably would still eat it because I'm a fat ass and I want food. But
and it's weird. We get naked Richard
again
on this episode.
Yeah, we do.
You brought it up when we talked about the first episode when we filmed that Richard stays naked, and I was like,
he does.
Okay, and then it was like, oh, it's a thing. Okay,
it's a thing. If you mention Survivor and Richard Hatch, you're like, naked guy.
Yeah, and then he talks about he's like, I'm not even naked of 5% of the time.
Yeah, the camera just decides or the show. The producers just thought, you know what, we're gonna show him when they're naked. We're gonna show him when he's naked. Well, I love that. I don't remember what episode it was, but somebody was like, well, we clearly see there's nothing impressive happening downstairs. They're like, Richard is impressive. Not downstairs, but in other ways.
Yeah.
I would have been like, yo, assholes. Let me see. I lost my notes.
This episode also shows Jarvis's, his work ethic versus the social game.
Yeah,
because they outline him. He's like, yeah, I don't do shit.
He doesn't. Yeah, every confessional, he's in that same position, legs crossed, laying back, he's just hey, I'm good. They ain't gonna vote me off, and I'm like,
I was like, you cocky bastard. I love this.
But I love Jervis. I said it last time. Jervis is still one of my favorite. The season when he comes back years later, I was just like, yes, because I don't know why I liked him so much. He just to me he was the standout person in the season. I always have one or two that I tie my I hope makes to the end. I think everybody does. So we get to the reward challenge. And it's a race. They race to a barrack. There's 3 items in there: a can opener, a knife, and an army helmet. The first tribe to get all their items with no duplicates back to the start wins a reward for canned foods and a chocolate bar. This was the one that was at night, right? Am I not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. They were in the bandit barrack.
I love this, and you don't get many challenges at night anymore. There is one when we get further down the line, you're going to see one season or one. I think it's an immunity challenge that someone does, and of course, time is elapsed and everything. But the challenge was supposed to happen that night, the immunity, the tribal council was supposed to happen that night, but because they lasted so long, they go well into the hours of the morning in tribal council because the challenge is still going on for the immunity.
That's crazy.
So you'll get there, but I don't remember if they ever say, or it's just something I've read, if they went straight to tribal council afterwards, or they went. I think they do. I think they go straight to tribal council from the challenge, with very little time to talk.
They weren't allowed to duplicate items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't able to duplicate. Richard makes a mistake. It's kind of the first mistake you see Richard make in this season. And because of that, Bagong won by default. With Bagong, Joel, he tries to create an alliance with the group. But the women on the tribe are saying no. They kind of look at it as not the most honest, sincere gesture. And we see Joel starting to kind of get a little, again, being that leader, having that bossy attitude, which doesn't fly. So around camp.
His condescension.
Yeah,
really
condescending.
Really starting to piss people off.
Yeah, I like, dude. In hindsight, if you watch it, you're like, man, you ain't lasting much longer. Community challenge. I mean, it's an army obstacle course. Again, it's very tactical things. It's that. I'm gonna say it 1,000 times this season. It's about survival in this first season. It's things and tasks like you would do to prepare yourself if you were stranded. But the first 2 tribe members to race through. Then you meet 2 more members of the tribe, and then you go to a puzzle and race to the finish line. Toggy wins, so that sends them down. And so, I mean, they have options here with Toggy has options. They can literally say moo and vote Jervis, or they can vote out Joel, which unfortunately, sorry, Joel is now gone. What did you think?
Shocking.
Yeah, not
especially
shocking.
After that, with this episode and his action.
Yeah. What? So I said I was going to ask you every episode, like, what do you think? Like, where we are now, right before the merger. Who's your standout? Who's running this game? Who do you think has the best chance of winning? Let's just say for right now, let's say from each tribe. Let's look at Toggy
you got Richard,
and
I can't think about tribes, right? Like who's on what tribe, but my 2 standouts are Richard and Jarvis.
Yeah. Jarvis is running that tribe without anybody really knowing it. Like he's like I feel like he could say something. He could say something to somebody, and they're just going to go do it, but it doesn't come back to him.
Yeah.
With Greg being very close to Jervis as well. Like Jervis and Greg are side by side. But Greg has sincerity and honesty right behind, with him. Oh yeah, so we've reached the merge. The next time we get together, we'll be talking about the merge. This has been fun. I've been having fun. I mean, as much as I'm ready to get through this damn first season, because it's cool.
Very entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, the next what's cool is even for me now watching the new season, which I'm going to go on record right here and say it. You're not watching it, but I said it off camera. This new season, the season I'm watching right now has some great characters, but it is trash gameplay. And I am sorry if you disagree with me, but I'm just backstab someone, blindside them.
Yeah.
I
blame the generation.
I mean, it's I don't know. The fact that I feel like I'm older than most people now playing Survivor, I'm like, am I going to be the 80-year-old man being on Survivor years later? But yeah, so we'll get to the merger next time. Mike, let them know where they can find you. All your stuff going on.
MJ Duplessis on all social medias. You can catch me soon back on Queen's Court with Husky and Bree. You can catch me every other Thursday with XOJ, the OG, and B-Roll on Learning the Ropes on Cool TV. And my new show, Inner Circle with Wheels. Well, I just interviewed my very talented friends. First episode is out with my friend Marv Buana, a great rapper, battle rapper from Detroit. Very talented dude who's done a lot of great things in his life and traveled the world doing them. Should be doing a second episode here soon too.
Sweet. Definitely go watch Inner Circle with Wheels. I watched that first episode listened to it when I was at work, and it's great. It's freaking great. I'm excited to see who else you get brought on because it was very, very entertaining. You can find me, DadHat Wrestling, everywhere, every social media. Please, if you get a chance, please give us a like and a subscribe. We appreciate it. Like, from everything we're doing on this channel, whether it be pro wrestling related or pop culture related or music or what, everything, everyone that works on this channel has such talent. And I love that I just get to, kind of watch along and join in on their fun and, just kind of be a little fly on the wall next to the cool things that they're doing. So, please give us a like and subscribe. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow World Championship Wreckage on all social medias as well. But yeah, next time that we are here, we'll be talking about the merch, and we'll see you next time. Peace, y'all.